Okay, so what we did yesterday was we just drew the elephants, right? And while you were not looking, I drew a third elephant, and I drew it really quickly. Now, that's the whole point. You have to get practicing lots of stuff so that you can draw quickly, because in painting or drawing, painting really, there are two main things. One is composition, and the other is drawing. If you can draw quickly, then you can just compose the picture. So see that elephant's in that corner. That's a much smaller elephant on a bigger landscape, and that's a bigger elephant on a smaller landscape. So composition is important. You can represent the same thing in different ways, but also the ability to draw quickly, which is why you have to practice. Just doodle all the time, copy all the time. That's more interesting. So now we go to the second stage, and this took me a few minutes. Now, admittedly, when I first started doing watercolors, this would drive me to distraction. And if you look closely at this, you'll see, there's blue, there's pink, there's yellow ochre, and I'm not painting all of this. The picture is painting itself. I want you to remember this term. The picture is painting itself. So how is the picture painting itself? Let's look at this. First of all, I'm using a brush that's not that brush. It's not a 6-number brush. This holds, I'll show you how much water. Look at it. I'm going to dip it in the water and look at it. It holds that much water. And if you don't have a brush that holds a lot of water, then you're making a mistake. So here's what I start to do is, the way I go is I'm slightly dipping it. I've got some water here. I'm not really mixing it here or doing anything. I just want to get some blue, and I'm going to put in some extra blue to just show you what extra looks like. See, that's really blue. I don't want that kind of blue. I want it to be like that blue. So see the difference between this blue and that blue. I just want it to be the background. I don't need it to be anything fancy. And I'm pushing this bead. I'm not really painting, pushing, dabbing. I'm just making sure that the bead moves along. See, that's too blue. I'll put in some water there. Okay, it's very, very light work, both in terms of the pigment itself and in terms of just how much pressure I'm putting. Now, I tend to put a little yellow ochre just a bit above while it's still wet. Once it's dry, I can't do anything. And I try to not make it like some of you have these little rivulets of yellow ochre. You have to be a little careful so that it mixes without it becoming apparent that you're actually putting in that yellow ochre from above. So now we've got yellow ochre here, and notice I'm just letting the paint. This is what it means. This is what you mean by the picture is painting itself. It's just painting itself. I'm not really pushing it. So when I put in something like, say, I'll put in a dash of pink. I like that little dash of pink here, and I'll make sure that I slightly nudge it so it doesn't become very apparent that I put it from the top. And now you've got all these shades of blue and pink and stuff, and then you slightly mop it up. Now I'm leaving this white space. I'll fill it with lemon yellow, no, not lemon yellow, with purple or something in the background, so for the mountains. And now we go to the grass, and again, that's what I'm doing. Also notice something, I'm going from light to dark. So now I've mixed up that green in advance, and I don't want it so dark. I want it to be light. So see how quickly I'm moving with the brush. If you're moving slower than this, then you've got a bit of a problem. So now I've gone a little darker. So I've mixed in a little blue with that, which is of course on the palette. See, it's here. It's on the palette. So I just have to mix in the blue, and we get your dark green. And we come back to the picture. Dab, 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 dab. Right. And I might decide, oh, let's put in some. There was in the original picture there was some yellow ochre here. Again, I'm just touching it, and you can see my brush dancing around. It's like I'm not painting it. The painting is painting itself. Just dab this a bit. And now we come to the bottom of the painting. So I've got my blacks ready in my palette, which I'm sure you do too. And I'm not mixing at the last minute. So there's your black, and again, see, that looks like a mistake. No, it's not a mistake. It's just the picture paints itself. Right. So I tap it, tap it. I can put anything. I can probably put a little blue out here. Because this is not the final, this is just the wash, but it's got a gradation, so that's gone from there to there, and this has gone from here to here, and now we've got this big pool. See how I have this pool the whole time, and if you've got this pool, now I should be stopping because I'm mucking around with it. But this is it. So just to summarize what we've done so far, we started out, so this is the same kind of effect that we're going to get once it's dry. And you've seen it now. It's taken, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. And essentially what I've done is very light, very light touch, very light shades, and started with yellow, with cobalt blue, just touching it, and then gone and mixed a little yellow ochre, and then put in some pinks, darker yellow ochre, left the little slot here, started with a lighter shade, and gone down to dark. And that's what we have right now. And then all we have to do is mop it up and we're done. So this is the speed with which you can do your washes. And what I need you to understand is just this. I need you to understand that you need to practice. Like, you know, when you put this up on Facebook or when you put this up on the forum, you're going to want to have this perfect thing. And if you practice, like you do a lot of little compositions just by yourself, and maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't see it, but the practice will get you up to speed like this. So you'll be able to create something like this in 4 or 5 minutes, and then eventually when it dries up, it's going to look like that. And this is the basis of good painting. It's just the practice. You're able to do something, you have control over it, and then you start to enjoy it. I mean, I could do washes all day. But of course we want to move ahead. So we'll move to the next stage, and I'll put in the background, and then we'll start doing the washes on the elephant and go from there. So bye for now.